2017, a new year. It seems like more than ever, these past few days, I have heard so many expressions of relief that 2016 is over. Anybody glad to say 2016 is done? You know, New Year's Day is not a particularly Christian holiday, but that which the day has come to mean to us is very much a Christian concept. New Year's Day is a day for a reset. Do you feel like you need a reset? A chance to start anew? An opportunity to wipe the slate clean and start all over again? One of the things which many take this day to do, one of the many things folks do on this day is to reevaluate our lives, our priorities, our assessment of what matters most, and try our best to give attention to it. A chance to perhaps get things in right order and stop sweating the small stuff and invest ourselves in the big stuff. It isn't easy to do, is it? And oftentimes we get things backwards. We focus on the insignificant while ignoring the important and the profound. In the ancient calendar of the Christian church, this day is not necessarily designated as New Year's Day, but it is a special Sunday for other reasons. A day set aside to remember the journey of the Magi, the wise men, the we three kings of Orient are that we just sang about, who upon learning of the birth of a newborn king followed a star to the place of his birth to present he and his parents gifts of welcome. The biblical story says that they brought treasures that represented things of great worth in the world of their day, gold and frankincense, myrrh. Now the Bible does not actually say how many kings or wise men came bearing gifts, but because 3 gifts are mentioned, tradition has always put 3 kings at the stable. In 1895, Henry Van Dyke, who was a Presbyterian minister and a poet, wrote a short story that told of a 4th wise man, a priest of the Magi named Artaban. Like the other wise men, he sees signs in the heavens proclaiming that a king has been born among the Jews. And like them, he sets out to see this newborn ruler, carrying treasures to give the child as gifts. A sapphire, a ruby, a pearl of great price. Kim, our ministry intern, led me to this story, and I've asked her to share an abridged version of it with you this morning. Kim.
When Herod ruled in Jerusalem, Artaban the Median, a priest of Magi, was king in Persia. At dawn on this day, Artaban left on his fastest horse, carrying 3 gems: a sapphire blue as sky, a ruby red as the sunrise, and a pearl white as snow. These were his gifts to honor the newborn king in Jerusalem. 19 days later, he arrived in Babylon with only 3 more hours' journey to the Temple of the 7 Spheres, where he would meet the other 3 Magi at midnight. The road was unusually silent, not a leaf rustled, not a bird sang, when he came upon a dark object blocking his way. There was a man lying in the road. His dress indicated that he was a poor Hebrew and close to death. As Artaban approached, the man's words were unintelligible, but fingers clenched the hem of the Magi's robe. Artaban's heart leaped to his throat with resentment at the bad timing and a delay he could not afford. Should he stay here and minister to this stranger? If so, he would miss his meeting. His friends would go without him. He would fail the quest for which he had sold everything. But if he left, the man would surely die. Artaban's spirit was in turmoil. Should he follow the star or give a cup of cold water to this perishing Hebrew? God of truth and purity, he prayed, direct me in the holy path, the way of wisdom, which only you know. Artaban moved the man from the road. He brought water and provided food. Eventually the man's strength returned. Who are you? The man asked. I am Artaban of the Magi. I am in search of the one who is to be born King of the Jews, the great prince and deliverer of all. I can stay no longer, for my caravan will leave without me. Here is all I have of bread, wine, and healing herbs. Once your strength returns, find your way home. The Jew looked at Artaban. I have nothing to give you in return for your kindness, but I can tell you where to find the Messiah. Our prophets say that he will be born in Bethlehem of Judah. May the Lord bring you safely to that which you search, to that place, because you have had pity upon the sick. It was dawn before Artaban reached the Temple of the Seven Stars. He looked anxiously for his friends, but there was no sign of the three wise men, neither far nor near. Then he saw a little pile of bricks, and under them a note. It read, "We have waited past the midnight hour and cannot delay any longer. We go to find the king. Follow us across the desert." Artaban sat down in despair. How can I cross the desert with no food and with a spent horse? I must return to Babylon, sell one of my jewels, and buy provisions for the journey. Only God the merciful knows if I may fail in my quest because I stopped to show mercy. So Artaban returned to Babylon. He traded the sapphire, blue as the sky, for supplies. Then Artaban, priest of the Magi, the fourth wise man, crossed the desert. He arrived full of hope in Bethlehem. Surely I will find him, he thought, in this place foretold by the prophets. He followed the sound of a woman singing and found a mother with a baby. She told him of the wise men that had come to the village 3 days ago, and how a star had guided them to Joseph of Nazareth, Mary, and their newborn child. She told how they had given gifts to the child. But the travelers left, and Joseph secretly took the baby and his wife to Egypt. While they were talking, there came a noise in the streets, a shrieking, wailing, clanging of swords, and desperate cries. The soldiers of Herod, they are killing our children!" The mother's face filled with terror. She held her baby close to her and crouched in the corner of the room. Artaban went to the doorway, blocked any sight of the woman. The soldiers came to the door with bloody hands, dripping swords. Artaban said, "I am all alone here, with this jewel for the prudent captain, who will leave me in peace." He showed the ruby, and the captain accepted it. "March on, there's no child here." The clamor and clang moved down the street. Artaban prayed, "God of truth, forgive my sin. I have lied to save the child's life. 2 gifts are gone. Shall I ever be worthy to meet the king?" But the woman, weeping for joy, said, "May the Lord bless you and keep you. The Lord make his face to shine upon you and be gracious unto you. The Lord lift up his countenance upon you and give you peace." Artaban continued his quest. He saw hunger, famine, plague, people imprisoned and enslaved. He found none to worship, but many to help. He fed the hungry, clothed the naked, healed the sick, comforted the captive. The years passed swiftly by, and it seemed that he had forgotten his quest. 33 years later, Artaban was still looking for the king. He came to Jerusalem for the Passover, but the multitude seemed agitated and was headed away from the temple. Artaban asked a group where they were going. They answered, "To the place called Golgotha. 2 robbers are to be crucified, and an innocent man, called Jesus of Nazareth. The priests and the elders had said that he must die because he named himself as the Son of God. Artaban's heart skipped. He thought, could my last pearl be just in time to offer ransom and save his life? So he followed the crowd. Just beyond the entrance of the guardhouse, soldiers came, dragging a young girl. She broke from their hands and threw herself at Artaban's feet. "Have pity on me," she cried, "and save me. My father was a merchant, but he is dead. I am to be sold as a slave to pay his debts. Save me from his fate worse than death." The old conflict arose in Artaban's soul. The conflict between the gift he had hoped to offer the king and the need right before his eyes. One thing was sure to his divided heart: to rescue this girl would be a deed of love. And is not love the light of the soul? He gave the girl to the precious slave. "This is your ransom, daughter. It is the last of the treasures I have kept for the king." While he spoke, the sky darkened and the earth shook. The walls of the house where they were standing rocked back and forth. Stones crossed into the street. Soldiers fled in terror. Artaban and the girl crouched, helpless. He had given away the last gift to the king, and with it hope of ever finding him. The quest was over. Artaban had failed. In that thought, however, was peace, not resignation. He knew that all was well because he had done his best each day, been true to the light that was given him. The earthquake brought a heavy tile down from the roof. It struck Artaban on his head. He lay breathless and pale, with blood trickling from the wound. The old man's lips began to move, as if he were speaking to someone the girl could not see. "Not so, my lord. When did I see you?" Then the girl heard a faint, sweet voice very far away. "Verily, I say unto you, inasmuch as you have done it to these, you have done it to me." A calm radiance was shown on Artaban's face. One last breath of relief came from his lips. His journey was ended. His treasures accepted. The other wise man had found the king.
And so in this new year, my question to you today is, will you join me in renewing your determination and commitment to bring our gifts to the King? Will you be a part of this family here at South Main, as together we do the work of Christmas all throughout 2017? What is the work of Christmas? When the song of the angels is still, when the star in the sky is gone, when the kings and princes are home, when the shepherds are back with their flocks, the work of Christmas begins. To find the lost, to heal the broken, to feed the hungry, to release the prisoner, to rebuild the nation, to bring peace among people, and to make music in the heart. That's the work of Christmas. That's the gifts we can bring to present to the newborn King in this year. Would you pray? Fill our hearts this day, O God, with that which was born in Bethlehem's stable so many years ago. And it was love. May love be the guiding star of our lives this coming year. May love be the motivation behind all of our decisions, great and small. May love be the security in which we invest ourselves. May love, your love, rule in our hearts and in the world, is our prayer, our New Year's Day prayer. In the name of Jesus. As we sing the